Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. I've got a special report today, and I want to present why I've been doing a lot of homework on Sokoman minerals of late, and the bigger picture is that I think that Newfoundland has the potential of being the next like an Abitibi 2.0. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. And some of the key players in this, you can see on this particular map. Now, this is a map that is in a report or a paper called Origenic Comparison of Structurally Controlled Gold Systems of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt and Central Newfoundland Appalachians, Implications for Newfoundland Gold Potential and Recurring Tectonic Drivers of Gold Mineralization. Don't worry, I'm going to not make it quite as complex as that, but there is a great map in here. Now, bear in mind that this paper was written in 2018, and some of the key players so far in this area for the orogenic gold potential of the region, or the whole island, if you will, is Equinox Gold and their Valentine Lake mine, which is down here. Another key player is the Newfound Gold. Both of these are picks in my reports, and they've got all this ground that basically is all in here. And over here is where Sokoman Minerals is. And another important part of this map is that this map here on the left side is the Abitibi region, if you will. All these yellow dots are all mines and gold occurrences along key structures. Now, in orogenic gold deposits, why I'm so excited and follow orogenic gold deposits is that they can be key, or they are a key source of very high grade gold in that are mined at deep, at very low costs and very high grades. And they are an important source of very high grade gold in the world. Uh, Two of the big successes are the Red Lake mine that made Goldcorp into its huge success, and also the Fosterville mine in Australia that was the key to the huge success of Kirkland Lake Gold. And so um, some of the important parts of an orogenic gold system are you need these very old rocks like in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, and they also occur in Newfoundland. A second important part is that you need these deep crustal faults which are represented by red. And you'll notice in the Abitibi that all these gold occurrences and mines are in close relationship to the two of the key ones, uh, and that you can see the same scenario. And bear in mind that these are on the same scale. So you're basically you could take the Abitibi and put it over here into Newfoundland. And it's almost like Newfoundland is rolling back the clock 100 years, and it's like the earliest days of the Abitibi is what we're seeing now in Newfoundland. The Equinox mine, which is down in here, is is one important part of that emergence of the Abitibi 2.0 being in Newfoundland. I think that another one will be, and in the next year, couple years, is Newfound Gold up here. And I think that Sokoman is a major player that still only has about a $40 million market value. And I think it's a really underloved gem that has recently gone through an important change in the management. In Denis Laviolette has now taken over as CEO. I'll be talking more about Denny and Tim Froud, who started Sokoman Minerals and also played a role in the earliest days of the Valentine gold mine that is now being put into production as we speak by Equinox. And when it gets into production, full commercial production, it will be producing about 300,000 ounces of gold a year. And they're having great success with their exploration on that project as well. So I think you're going to see it be a long-lived mine. And I also think the same thing is going to happen with Newfound Gold, that will drive it to be a multi-billion-dollar company in the not too distant future. And next up, the next undiscovered gem is Sokoman. So this paper is the key thing that I brought. Why I brought this paper up is because to make the case that the start of the case that Newfoundland could be the Abitibi 2.0. I've said this before, and this in this report, I'm going to go into a little more details as to why I think. I mean, but the basics are you just look at this old rock, the Archean rocks, which is one of the key elements of an important orogenic gold region. You see all the mines along there. And the most important part is high grade gold. And those are your three key factors. The right age of rocks, the cracks in the earth, these faults that are where the earth there's cracks in the earth that are the pathway or the bus, if you will, that bring these high grade golds up to near surface where you can mine them very profitably. And the Valentine Lake mine will be one of those that's coming online now. The next one will be up in here where the Newfound Gold is developing a mine right now, and an up and comer is over here on this in this area, which is where Sokoman is located. All right. So let's get into people. Denis Laviolette is a extremely talented geologist who also has extensive experience in the capital markets and in digital marketing. Okay. Some of and Denny was the founder of some important companies, Newfound Gold, for example, and also Gold Spot, which is an artificial intelligence. They're using they use artificial intelligence in the gold exploration business. He sold that to ALS, and now he also has a company called Earth Labs with the stock symbol of SPOT, which was formerly called Gold Spot when they were focusing on their AI. And they've used the money from the sale of that to create a kind of a company that has digital marketing assets or not digital marketing, but well, I guess you could call it that, as well as owning shares in other companies. Okay, so one of those that they own shares in is Newfound Gold, and some other big successes like Sterling and other ones that are make Spot quite exciting as well. And so so some of the assets that Earth Labs owns is they own CEO.ca, which is a hub or a investor platform where investors that are interested in mining go to talk about mine rocks and stocks, if you will. I'm on there as well as Allan, just my first name. And they also own the Northern Miner Group, which is one of the Northern Miner has been reporting on the mining sector in Canada for 100 years or more. I don't know the exact amount, but many decades. They also own the Canadian Mining Journal and mining.com. So they put out a lot of content. They have a forum for investors to talk about rocks and stocks, and they also have they create content, reports about the sector. Uh, as I said earlier, he is the founding founder and former president and CEO of Newfound Gold. Now, Newfound Gold has gone through a transition and they brought in a new management group that are very talented at building mines. Okay. And so that's what the focus of Newfound Gold is and why I like the company and have talked about them in several reports. And when I go, I'm going to keep talking more about Denis Laviolette, but if I could put it into a nutshell about Denis Laviolette, is he is such a talented guy and has a extensive Rolodex of high net worth individuals that follow his work. And Denny could be the CEO of any company. There's multiple junior mining companies that would love to have Denny on as a CEO. The fact that earlier this week he took over as the CEO of Sokoman speaks volumes about the potential of Sokoman. And I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. But before I do, I also want to talk about Tim Froud. Tim is a sort of a geologist, and he was the president and CEO of Sokoman Minerals. He will now be the president of Sokoman and will continue to be a very important part of the story. Why he's so important is that Tim lives not far from Sokoman's project. Tim has 35 years of mineral exploration experience. He is a visionary when it comes to Newfoundland gold potential. And he was actually even credited with the discovery of the Valentine Lake gold deposit, which is Canada's newest gold mine and is recently been commissioned and being brought into full commercial production by Equinox. So Tim has been one of the stalwarts, if you will, of geologists in Newfoundland that recognized the potential early in his career with with the Valentine Lake gold mine, and now I think he's got the potential to have another future mine that in Newfoundland, and so Tim and Denny are going to be a great combination. Denny will be the executive chairman and CEO, and Tim will be the president and sort of the on the grounds geologist, if you will, because he lives so close um, to Sokoman's project Moosehead. and knows the geology of Newfoundland like nobody else really. And so if I'm right that the Abitibi 2.0 is in Newfoundland, what I mean by that is that I think that there will be mines in Newfoundland, high-grade gold mines in Newfoundland for decades into the future. And when the history is talked about, Tim Froud and Denis Laviolette are going to be key people in that history from the very earliest days to what I think will become decades of high grade gold mining in Newfoundland on orogenic gold mines. All right. Okay. So let's dig a little deeper into the into Sokoman. So this is a great map that really helps me to explain some of the key drivers or key factors that are important in orogenic gold systems. So here you have over here you have Ireland, and some of my long-term audience will remember the name Dalradian. Dalradian was a company that I picked when on their earliest successes, they were trading at about 25 cents a share. I remember that a lot of people were sort of, oh, well, is it going to be success? It's in Ireland and so forth. It turned into a huge success because it was taken over at multiples of that 25-cent price. And I guess I might make the case that I'm trying to find another Dalradian, and I think it might be Sokoman. Okay, so you see this red line here, and these black lines and the hatched lines. These are all deep crustal cracks in the earth. Okay. And at one time, these were connected, okay? And then you got the North Atlantic spreading zone. So in the Atlantic, there was a spreading of the Atlantic, and that separated Newfoundland and Dalradian to where they are today. Ireland over there, and Newfoundland over here. And here is where Moosehead is located, and not far away is where Newfound Gold is located, and not far to the south along this important structure is where the Valentine Lake mine is located. Okay, so that's the the what do they call that? The 30,000-foot view. Now, I said earlier that an important factor in these orogenic gold systems are three key things. One is very old rocks. You can see that in Ireland as well as Newfoundland. Cracks in the earth that are how the gold gets from thousands of meters underneath the surface, where the pressure and temperature is perfect to create the genesis of an orogenic gold system that uses those cracks in the earth to make their way closer to the surface. Now, the most important part is this. Where is it? Here. Okay. High grade gold. And this is from the Moosehead project. Now, this project has been worked on for about 5 years now. And over that time, they've found a series of important zones, if you will, in the at the Moosehead project. Those include the Eastern Zone, South Pond, Western Trend, Footwall Splay, 75 zone. There's another one called 463. And so these are various different zones that contain, and they all contain very high grades of gold, 70 grams over 9 meters, 45 grams over 11, 50, this is 12.5 grams over 39. But inside that was like a 40 or 50 grammer over, I think, 5 to 8 meters. So, and then you've got 5.5 meters of 56, 170 grams over a meter, lots of very high grade gold. But then the trick is to figure out the depth potential because all of these have been found, as you can see from in the from to to, in the, from very close to surface down to about 244 meters. Now, it's important to note that in these orogenic gold systems, they have very deep roots. Okay, so these zones can go down for thousands of meters. You take a look at Red Lake, for example, that was the company maker for Gold Corp, and they were mining kind of with moderate success in the first few hundred meters from surface. And the same thing is true with Fosterville in Australia. And then they got deeper into the system and hit the bonanza zone at about 1,000 meters below surface in Red Lake. And that bonanza zone just kept on going and going. It made Goldcorp able to 10x their gold production from 50,000 to 500,000. They were the lowest cost producer of gold with an underground mining at 1,000 meters and below, and they were mining very high grade. So it made them one of the best performing gold mining stocks during the past great gold bull market in the 2001 to 2011. And then they were ultimately taken over, and the rest is history, so to speak. Now, Fosterville followed a similar story. They mined there for a couple decades near the surface with moderate success. Then they drilled down into the Swan Zone and other zones at about, let's say, 750, 800 meters. And the rest was history. Kirkland Lake mine down there very profitably. They ended up getting taken over and made shareholders a massive amount of money, including Eric Sprott, who is now a big proponent of Newfoundland. He owns a huge position in Newfound Gold, and he also owns about 22.5% of the shares in Sokoman Minerals. So I think that Eric Sprott sees the potential that Newfoundland could become the next Abitibi. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I already went over this map. Okay, so here you can see the Abitibi, and that it's on the same scale. And there could definitely be an Abitibi uh, lurking in Newfoundland. And I think that that's going to prove to be an accurate statement that the Abitibi 2.0 will be in Newfoundland, Canada. All right. That's a forward looking statement if you ever heard one, but I think I'm going to be proven right. All right. So now let's do an even deeper dive. And here is the Geo Atlas put out by the government of Newfoundland. And they do a fantastic job at showcasing the geological potential of Newfoundland. And okay, um, I want you to keep these red lines in mind, especially this VLSZ, which is the Valentine Lake Shear Zone. It goes all the way up through Moosehead, which is up in here of the of Sokoman. And then down here is a structural corridor that is responsible for what Newfound Gold um, has. Now, when Denis Laviolette was staking the property that is now owned by Newfound Gold, he also saw these structures and all of these gold occurrences, and basically he staked all the ground from here all the way down into here. Okay, so Denny was a very visionary guy, and I'm really excited, as you could probably tell, that he's now taken over as the CEO of Sokoman, which is over here. Okay. This part here is going to become more clear to you um, in a second. So this is a big batholith. Okay. Think of a big block of magma that comes from deep and makes its way towards the surface. And it's an intrusion that is can be important. There are intrusion related deposits. In this case, I don't think it's as important as the structural story. So remember earlier when I showed you all of those from that paper, all of those structures, and they basically, there's a corridor here that is where Newfound Gold grabbed all their property, going right to that 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 batholith. Okay, and so their success is right about here, right near where the contact of that batholith is, and this structure right in here, just above the Gander Lake, is where they've had all of their success. Okay, and almost an equidistance across on the other side of that batholith is the where Sokoman is located. And this black line represents part of the Valentine Lake shear zone. Okay, so um, these are very important markers. And I don't want to give away too much of the story, but this whole corridor from here all the way down to here, which is where the Valentine mine is located, is down in here, right around this hockey stick formation. Right in here is where Valentine Lake mine is. And this whole structural corridor here is very, very important. And secondary structures are also very important here. So, now, you can do your own homework on this. I've already done it. I don't want to give away too much of the punchline because I think there's some stuff in the works. And I would point to how Denis Laviolette staked up all the ground personally, all in here that made up Newfound Gold. All in here is where he staked up the ground. Now, Sokoman is over here, and all of this prospective ground is staked up, and I'm going to say by people that Denis Laviolette knows very well. And I'm going to say that this is all very prospective. And I think that Sokoman is going to be a larger landowner on the west side of this big batholith that is right here. And I think that they could be the next, let's say, Newfound Gold 2.0, if you will. And so that's got me very excited. I think that the key players in Newfoundland are going to be Equinox with their Valentine Lake mine, Newfound Gold, And I think that you're going to see a much larger footprint of the ground that Sokoman owns in that area in the not too distant future. I'm going to leave it at that. And just say again that I am very excited about about the prospects of Sokoman minerals in Newfoundland as being part of what I believe will prove to be the Abitibi 2.0, and it's in Newfoundland. And they've got two of the key people that have recognized this potential, Denny Laviolette and Tim Froud, for many years now. And I think that what's ultimately going to happen is that you are going to see Sokoman grow into a much larger value company than its current value, which is why I have personally taken on a very large position. I've been helping clean out the market since Denny Laviolette, actually, even before I got lucky. And last week, after I had done an interview with Tim Froud and heard of what they're planning on doing on the project, I bought a starter position. I've doubled that starter position three times now, I think. And friends of mine have also been accumulating the stock because they follow what I talk about and they see the potential as well. And I think you're going to see Sokoman Minerals emerge as a very important player in Newfoundland. And I'm super excited about Newfoundland because of the mine that Equinox has been building down here, which they're a pick of mine. The one that Newfound Gold is building up in here, which is a pick of mine. Sokoman Minerals, which is another pick of mine. So I'm trying to corner the market, if you will, on being a leader in when it comes to my peers as uncovering this potential. And obviously Sokoman Minerals is the cheapest of all of them, but I don't think it's going to stay that way for very long. So keep in mind my bias. I already own a big chunk of the stock. I'm going to be buying more of the stock, and do your homework. Speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. But I really believe strongly that Sokoman is one you want to do that homework on very quickly. All right. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.